Exclusives are antiquated. No one cares about exclusives. Your games need to be on every platform. They'll make more money. It's simple math. It's basic economics. I have made these claims. Now, I'm not saying that Game Logic is referring to me, but these are ideas that I have espoused. These are ideas that I have proven, and not only I, but those who are in the video game industry themselves, and not only those in the video game industries themselves, but also those from PlayStation. Now, it's very interesting because I want to go through this idea. Shout out to Game Logic. He says, I shouldn't have to refute this every month. And then he says, but I do because the narratives continue to be circulated. Being able to balance your checkbook does not make you an economist. They hand out degrees for that. And for all the reaction writers who would say, but the multi-platform games. You said none of those publishers are running a $31.5 billion business or eclipsing Nintendo in revenue, since you guys like to focus on that single financial metric so much. Nintendo dipped in fiscal year 25 due to it being the final year of Switch sales. The market knowing the Switch 2 was coming, but the Switch 2 not launching till after the end of fiscal year. But the fiscal year 26 revenue will put them right back at number 4 on the strength of their hardware and exclusives. Now, this is very interesting because Game Logic posits this and then circles or highlights Ghost of Yote. And also highlights Ghost of Yote. And I said to myself, I know I've seen a number before from PlayStation that did better and it was a multi-plat. And so I tracked it down. And guess what I found? Helldivers 2. Not only did I find Helldivers 2, I found the interview where Shuhei Yoshida also talked about how Helldivers 2 pretty much outsold some other exclusives on PlayStation. You remember Horizon Forbidden West and Marvel Spider-Man 2. You see, ladies and gentlemen, this whole thing is a simple mathematical equation. It's not complicated. It's not complex. It's not some quantum relativity or whatever it is. You know what? It's actually a very simple equation. The equation being, as Sean Layden said, when you limit your addressable market, it is your Achilles heel, meaning that you are vulnerable when you take an exclusive game out in the market. And it's something that shows itself time and time again. As many are celebrating Ghost of Yote's position on the top selling list of games, you have to remember that other games that actually made their way to other platforms did very well. Helldivers 2 is one of such, and I'm talking publisher to publisher. This is PlayStation we're talking about in it. We're not talking about another publisher. We're not talking about another developer. We're talking about PlayStation themselves. And I think it's very important that we make sure that we point these apples to freaking apricots comparisons in play. So number one, Nintendo is not PlayStation. Nintendo was not, or I guess I would say, finding it challenging to send development kits into the wild. So Nintendo is not facing the same challenges that PlayStation is facing. In fact, Game Logic over here in your replies, someone said to you, please, they appeal to you, do not compare Nintendo, which relies on 90% of its first party games, with PlayStation, which relies on 90% on third party games. Now, these numbers are arbitrary, but we know that PlayStation has a strong reliance on third party games. Do you know how I know? Because they said so. And they usually say a lot of things. I'll show you where they said so. Because the executive team of PlayStation is very well adept and aware of their business. You see, you can say that people, basically having or doing some financially savvy stuff is not, indicative of them being aware of economic principles and so on and so forth. But we can all just listen to what the executives and ex-executives are saying in regard to the business, and we can get a good sense to see if our economics of Walmart grocery shopping and all of the basic bill paying that we do to balance our checkbook actually lines up. And I think that's actually where things go. You see, it's no longer time to dance around the matter. Let's just lay it down flat. This is a status-based thing. The game is an exclusive, so it now shows up on the Circana list, and now we want to jump out in 2025 and pretend like 2024 didn't happen. Helldivers 2 smoked everything. The excitement, the noise, the community impact that games usually get, and yes, single players and also multiplayers usually enjoy this if they're good games, judging by that particular list in 2024, also being occupied by Space Marine, Power World, Baldur's Gate 3, and Black Myth Wukong. They can enjoy that game. And these games I called, they do have a co-op element to them, don't get me wrong, but largely they have the single-player emphasis compared to some other games like Call of Duty and Counter-Strike. Black Myth Wukong being the one with that particular paradigm as a single-player game. Had it launched on PlayStation, would it have seen the kind of success that it did if it launched as an exclusive on PlayStation? Right now, can you tell me that Ghost of Yotei has actually achieved its highest potential? No, it hasn't. We know so because we've seen the performance of video games at launch and the drop-off of some games, which we may point to some particular categories in and out. Maybe we'll look at Final Fantasy 16, 3 million at launch, boom, and then Square Enix is coming out saying, oh, no money. Or Monster Hunter Wilds, 10 million sales at launch. You see the difference, though? And then afterwards, Capcom is saying, well, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of sales in this particular paradigm. Again, this is not just economics. This is taking into account numerous titles, numerous games. You can't just lie and wait till one game comes out and then it makes number 10 and number 3 on these varying lists and then discount or pretend like the game that made number 1 and number 1 from Sony Corp didn't happen. It's here. It blew their minds. They were like, who would have thought? Shuei Yoshida said in that interview, remember the interview? When he said, who would have thought? I was trying to look for the timestamp. I've been looking through the transcripts. And so again, exclusivity is an antiquated thing. In fact, let's go ahead and even blow this thing out of the lid. And let's go ahead and solidify that you don't need to be an economist or whatever. All you need to do is just watch what PlayStation is doing. Because if exclusivity was all that, why are they then abandoning it and then eventually bringing those games to PC? What do they plan to achieve with that? Whatever in the world could they have ever wanted to accomplish with that? With having an entire store that is not even theirs, and they can come up with a PC store. Ubisoft's got a PC store. Don't give me that. And they launch their games here. What are they trying to achieve? What are they trying to, what are they trying to garner? Like, what are they doing here? If exclusivity was that important, what are they doing here? It's different? That's what I'm going to hear? Oh, it's a different proposition? Is that what I'm going to hear? It's a different proposition to achieve what? To achieve sales. This does not need an economic principle, nor does it need an economic degree. In fact, all my degrees or attempted degrees are far from economics. But thank God for the fact that we can just look with our eyes, observe, and see. We can listen with our ears and hear the people that are in the business and what it is that they're saying. And be well aware that if you lock your game to one ecosystem, you are at risk of that game tanking. Did y'all even not hear it? I copied the comment section here. I was looking at the comment section and there were people talking about how Greg did not even respond more vehemently to the reality that Horizon Forbidden West did not sell as much as Horizon Zero Dawn. The game's not exclusive anymore. It's not. So again, this is good for Ghost of Yotei. It is. But it could be better. As Helldivers 2 proved to us. Thanks for watching the video. Peace out.